Hello, this is Pixie. Let's check my camera's alright. I decided to do a quick vid. Maybe I'll do that as well, make it a bit more quieter. Yeah, it's just a dream invasion and different experiences. So I'm growing a lot of different plants in my flat, and I don't know, I tried to do a video, but the sound quality can vary on this device, so I've probably got to get an earpiece or something at some point. Basically, they could be influencing my mind at some level, or accessing different points of it, or parts of it that normally I wouldn't have normal access so much to. I had another odd dream, and it felt like something invaded my dream. And it has a tendency that I'm in the dream, I'm coming to, or about to, I'm sort of getting to a lighter sleep. I look behind myself, and I end up, there's someone behind me, and this individual, it's very strange, it's like something like out of, I don't know, maybe Twin Peaks, something odd like that. Anyway, this being is, one's taller and there's two shorter ones, and the shorter one seems to be on either side of this being. And so last night I was looking for somebody in my dream, and I remember this sort of like dingy place. It must be under. Let's have a think really hard. It's likely to be underground, like some bunker or something, or some old hospital that's being used, or asylum or something. But anyway, I was right in the basement of it, of this place, and the entity, I basically asked where she was, and the entity said, "Oh, she's just cleaning up the piss," and I thought bizarre. And but the middle one speaks, but the two didn't really speak. I think one of the ones on the right, or let's see, well, that'd be the left, on the left side of this being that was facing me, and so it said something, but they basically looked all the same. They basically looked like they had sort of slightly strawberry blonde type hair, maybe a bit of red in it, and they look similar, like they're all related to each other, these faces. And so they told me this woman was clearing up some piss or something around piss, and I was thinking, why is that important in my dream? And I went to see what she was up to, and I saw her outside a sort of building. So it's a large building of some sort, but it was a bit like then it went sort of like to an Alice in Wonderland in essence, because she was outside, but there was a rabbit. There was like a rabbit skin, and or it was a living rabbit, I don't know. She was stuffing something electronic into the backside of it, and she was a lot younger. Now she could be. I had a thing whereby I was told I had a daughter, and it was created by this grey type reptilian. I don't know what it is. Sort of a mixture between a grey and a reptilian and a humanoid. So it's kind of a mixture of species. Some type of subclass sort of race, or a mixture of them. But she was able to reproduce, and she's basically sort of consented to having some sort of like a fantasy relationship or something. I don't know. She wanted to know how we express affection and so on. So I kind of used that, and in essence, we kind of had like a romantic fling or something. I don't know. It's just like a thing in my head, and that's what I thought it was, but actually it seems to be a bit more than that. That you can kind of spiritually consent to having kind of a child in some essence, because you know, it's a bit like if a bloke sleeps with a woman and she gets pregnant. Now, if he slept with her, she could say, and she didn't fully consent or something like that, she could say she was raped. But if she decided to have a child without that person's really consenting to the actual, I mean, we're all responsible for our actions. I mean, even if it's kind of like you got drunk, you liked him at the time, but when you woke up you wish you didn't go with this person, or the reverse of that, you know, this woman, you're not thinking, oh Christ, I didn't really want this to happen, it's just blown out of proportion. But the same could happen for, you know, nobody turns around and says, well, what happens if you get pregnant? Because it would kill the moment and all these other things. However, I didn't know that she was going to say, well, basically I've been able to sort of use your energy and so on, and be able to create a hybrid using some sort of, I don't know, quantum entanglement, like a Rife type thing, which is a bit unusual. So yeah. So anyway, so it was a hybrid child, and I've come across her in the past. I mean, she's lovely actually. I mean, she's affectionate. She refers to me as Daddy, and but she's pretty. It's a bit like the Addams Family in that she's more involved in things you wouldn't normally tackle, like regenerating dead animals or doing experiments biologically with. So she's into the old cyborgs. There was something where she showed me a cat that they collected, and it had been killed or hit by a car or something. And what they had done is they regenerated it. So there was parts of it were still alive on it because it was freshly injured. They were able to regenerate it, but then they installed cybernetics to it. So I don't even know if it's still the same cat or something. And then there was like other beings that were in sort of type bags, some sort of weird bags that were sort of body bags for things like cows and stuff. They were sort of see-through, and I could see them, and I don't think they're keeping them alive, like some sort of blood bank or something. I don't know what's going on there. It's quite odd. So yeah, so it could have been her that was stuffing something into the back of an animal. But it's a white rabbit, and she was shoving something cybernetic. It could be something much more deeper than that. It could be something symbolic of something else, putting cybernetics innocently into people's body and stuff. I don't know what they were doing, but this entity's turned up before. I had it before, and it said it would come back and give me a surprise, and I couldn't figure out why. I was talking to one thing, and there seemed to be like two things next to the side of it. So that was very, very, very strange, and I'm wondering if I've been dabbling the idea. I don't know, maybe it's them that are pushing me that way as well. If I took something like a magic mushroom, that what I might open up, I might be actually to access certain areas of information, like, you know, have I been involved in some experiments or something? Am I being abducted by something? Because I was thinking, am I being sleepwalking? Because as I woke up this morning, so that happened, I felt these entities leave in some way, like they were close to me and they'd gone. So I felt like they walked out the front door. And then I felt like I was sort of from a lightness to a heaviness. And I thought, well, I've either just like laid in my bed, like I've sat up and I've laid back down in my bed, I've slept walk, or someone's actually just put me back in bed. But my legs were up. So I raised my legs because my foot was hurting, so I raised it. So I hadn't moved to the best of my knowledge because my leg was still in the same position I fell asleep in. This other stuff seems a bit strange. So yeah, I'm just wondering with mushrooms what sort of gateways I might open up. I have to be very disciplined and prepared for that. It might be like it might actually summon up a demon, or it might be almost in your mind or something. An entity that would probably scare the crap out of people, or things where I used to have nightmares as a boy. I might actually see the entity that's involved with all that, and what was the point of that? But I would like to know what's going on, because they're trying to fool me. Three of them, three entities, or maybe they're all connected to each other. So it might be an entity with three heads, basically. Either way, they're trying to play some type of a game, and it's I just want to get to the bottom of it, really. And so maybe mushrooms may be one of the ways to enter that way, because as my brain goes into a sort of hyper-dimensional space and accesses different areas, it will summon up different things. I just have to be prepared to take on a big experience. You know, it's like something I'd book leave off work for a while or something, you know, just in case it's still going on for like 20 hours or something. But what I do is I take a small dosage. I have actually got some fly agaric and so I've got some of that dried stuff. I was going to try to regenerate the spores and possibly mix it with another mushroom and see what I can create and stuff like that. So these are projects. I know it only grows in the root structure of certain trees, but I do have some seeds for a redwood, so I might try to grow a little one and put it with it, or seed chippings. I've also got some cedar oil, so maybe a way to try to mix something to try to actually grow it, and then mix it with some other spores, other magic mushroom spores, and put them together and try to grow something, which would be quite crazy and cool at the same time. You definitely know if you've got Moby Dick mushrooms and then you stick something that's got bright red and white spots, you definitely see the difference. So yeah, that's definitely something I'm looking to experiment in and open up the doors. I've got this feeling that there's repressed memories or something in there. It's like my consciousness, you know that thing with the Hulk, and the Hulk's behind the mirror and he's kind of like, he's in somewhere else, and you know something's missing, and then behind the mirror is the Hulk's, you know, saying I'm here, I'm a part of your psyche, and then it actually breaks through and reconnects with his main consciousness. So it's kind of like that, and in essence that something's trying to break through and connect with me, and sometimes it feels like I'm connected to other entities, so I want to establish what's going on, so I got an understanding. Otherwise it's one of these things, you never know really what's going on, you just keep having strange experiences that seem to be, you know, between paranormal, alien and all sorts of things, or information downloaded into your brain. Like I was sort of shown that basically the spiral galaxy is the neocortex of a brain, so it's like in the brain stem, and outside of that is all these galaxies, things that we're not even aware of. So it's actually like a big brain of a spherical type brain, the universe, and so we're in the mind of a god or the mind of something much greater than ourselves, which is all sort of mind-blowing. Some other things I've been doing is hydrogen peroxide, put a little bit in your bath, really great stuff. I mean, remove dead skin and all sorts of stuff like that. I did put a higher dosage, and it's like you've had a shot of whiskey in water. I tend to let it settle a bit because all the bubbles, you get a lot of oxygen, so I don't want to take something that goes into my body and then suddenly it's producing loads of oxygen at once, because it might be a bit like excessive. And also, what bubbles are they? Hydrogen bubbles in me, I might blow up if it's in my system. Who knows? I do think about it. I had this thought that if I ate something particular, I think I had something with magnesium, I had some Ormus. I thought Ormus and hydrogen peroxide, what would the outcome of that be? I saw myself like belly blowing up or something. That would be pretty scary stuff. But I've drunk a higher dosage, and what happens is it feels like you've had some whiskey and something. You can feel sort of warm sensation as it's gone down, or warming in the stomach, then it's gone further down into the colon and so on. And so what I tend to do as well is I just dilute it by drinking some extra water afterwards. So I let it cleanse. I haven't had any ill effects. I did take a strong lot, and it kind of knocked me out. So I just felt like I was going to sleep, and I could feel my heart rate increased, like it was reacting, like it knew that there was something that it thought could be potentially toxic or something like that. And so basically it just sort of I don't know if it thins the blood as well, or has an effect on the blood, because the heart rate increased, and I just rested, and I felt good afterwards. And the night I sort of slept that night, and I felt like when I woke up, there's like sort of tingling sensations in my fingers, and it was different, like a bit like the sensation you'd have if you was having a jacuzzi and you put your fingers into where the air's coming out. So I had like that sort of sensation, but through my nerves in my hand. So I thought maybe I've hit quite a high amount, so I better lay off. But then I've had it since. I had a shot of it last night. I had some Ormus, and like I say, I had this pretty effed up dream with entities in it and stuff. It could be that they're picking up on that I'm doing something and they're checking up on me. So they're kind of monitoring my health and what I do spiritually. So like hardwired to my head in some way or something. There's also when I woke up, there's tingling in my hairs and my arms, and I was wondering if the Wi-Fi could be used to be attacking me or doing something to me as well. So there's lots of military stuff. I mean, that might seem like, wow, you know, you're using Wi-Fi to connect to your brain, but there is a lot of research around that, because we all operate in frequencies, and if you tune into a person's frequency, you can influence them. And your hairs are like little aerials. So yeah, it's all interesting stuff. Anyway, this is Pixie signing off. Have a great day, and speak to you soon.